And still with us in studio is Danny Ayalon, the former Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister and former Israeli Ambassador to the U.S. But first, let's go to Ramallah in the West Bank and speak with Palestinian security analyst Mohammed Najib. And Mohammed, what is the Palestinian Authority planning there at the UN, and are they open to some kind of compromise suggested by the United States to make this a non-binding statement rather than a full Security Council resolution?
Yes, Calev, the Palestinian Authority thinks that the settlement undermines the two-state solution, and it determined to go to the United Nations Security Council against that issue. I learned from a senior Palestinian official at the President Abbas office this week that on Monday, the Palestinian Authority has instructed Ambassador Riyad Mansour, the representative of Palestinian Authority to the UN, to prepare the proposals to go to the next political move, despite the strong pressure and direct request from the United States, from the Palestinian Authority, not to go to the UN Security Council, not to embarrass them. But the Palestinian Authority and the President Abbas are determined to go to challenge Israel and the settlement expansion in the West Bank and the East Jerusalem.
All right, Mohammed, stay with us. Well, Danny, there you have it. A senior source saying the UN, they're not going to give in to the United U.S. pressure. That is going to put the Biden administration in a tough spot. How do you think this is going to play out for them?
Well, Calev, they can, I would say, solve this conundrum as they always did. That means they will try to water down the resolution to where it is acceptable, also by Israel, not officially. However,
but you just heard Mohammed say at this point the PA is not going to play along with that.
Then it's easier for them to cast a veto. This has always been the case, except the 2016 with Obama. But we have to remember, that was on his last days in office. We are here in midterm. Biden, although he has not announced, he thinks of another run. And also, for the United States, this announcement, Israel, of the 9 new communities is not, coming out of of no context. The context is the Palestinian terror and the lack of any activity of counterterrorism by the Palestinian Authority, and with very nefarious incitement day in and day out by the Palestinian Authority. So for the Americans, they understand that this is the minimal measure that Israel can take. They don't like it. It's not their policy. We know it. By the way, there's nothing new from 1967 on. And they will go and try to kind of square or the circle by having a diluted resolution, or if that is not the case, if the Palestinians do not come forward in some kind of a compromise, they either will veto it or will go for a presidential announcement whereby it is non-binding and just a declaration by the Security Council.
Well, Mohammed, you can respond to what some of the points Danny made, and I'm sure you have. But is it worth it for the Palestinians to go for broke here, not work with the Americans, and instead just simply face another American veto in the Security Council?
Actually, the Palestinians are upset by the Americans, who don't practice any pressure on the Israeli side, even to free the Palestinian money to stop the settlement. They just make statements, and the Palestinian Authority said condemnation and the statement are not enough. We want you to force Israel. And I asked the senior Palestinian official if he thinks that the United States is capable to force Israel. He said yes, if they want, by phone call, they can force them to do something and stop these settlement activities in the West Bank. But what is the Palestinian upset is that the America said, and Secretary Blinken said, we are against settlement for the two-state solution, but they do nothing to prevent the undermine of this two-state solution. I think the Palestinian Authority said that this is an important movement, that the U.S., the European Union, the Arab countries are concerned from having Ben Gvir and Smotrich as this government. So they think this will be in favor and support for them, taking in consideration that the Palestinian Authority has reactivated its external diplomacy since the new government came to office since the beginning of January.
All right. Well, Danny, what about that? Maybe even if the U.S. does veto, Mohammed is saying this is a tactic to get the Biden administration to put pressure on the Netanyahu government, not just on that settlement issue, but on the financial issue, which involves the pay-to-slave policy and perhaps some other matters.
Well, absolutely. We will need some, and I'm sure we will see some more high-level American visits here. They would like very much to keep the security coordinations. Right now, we're not sure where this is going, so they have a lot of demands from the Palestinians as well, including the incitement that has to be stopped, which really inspires, unfortunately, all this, what they call the lone wolves terrorists, including kids who are 13 or 14 years old.
All right. Well, who knows? We may yet see a high-level visit by one of those American officials, Jake Sullivan or someone of that type, in the near future. Mohammed Najib in Ramallah, thank you for joining us.